Today I'm going to share with you how I prepare for my speaking engagements and a little bit about what it takes to be a professional speaker. Now, just a disclaimer, I am recording this in the summertime when Doug and I typically are not traveling because we follow the school calendar from mid-August through mid-May. People will sometimes assume that we just take our summers off completely and lounge around eating bonbons, but that could not be further from the truth. I'll actually be recording another video all about what we do for work during the summer, so please keep your eyes out for that. But today, I just want to focus on how I prepare to speak at a school or other event. Now, for both Doug and me, this is our full-time job. This is the only thing we do for work, and it keeps us very busy. There's never a shortage of work that needs to be done. I'm constantly creating new content, doing marketing and outreach activities to book new engagements, working on our Power of Path curriculum, answering emails, and preparing for my speeches and videos. I also have a team of people that I oversee who help me behind the scenes. This includes a graphic designer, a social media manager, an executive assistant, a web developer, a curriculum writer, a graduate student in mental health who's helping us with our curriculum, and caregivers who record my vlogs and other videos. Doug, he manages our entire sales and lead generation team, which includes people who help us make phone calls and book future events. Doug takes care of the logistical arrangements with the event organizers, and he also books our travel. Also, he handles all of our finances, our budget, and our taxes, so you can see how this work easily fills up our time, especially considering when you look at the 49 schools we visited in 8 months this last school year. So we were gone at least 2 days every week, which means all of this office work is really condensed. But as far as my speech itself, I do not take it lightly. My words have the potential to make a great impact, to change a life. And a school or organization has put their trust in me to deliver a powerful message that leads to tangible results. I never want to disappoint or deliver a speech that isn't my very best. Now, you might think that just because I've delivered thousands of speeches, I can just get up on any stage and wing it. That couldn't be further from the truth. I am a total planner. I have friends who can wing things, but I am just not wired in that way. There have been a handful of times where I've had to speak and didn't have very much preparation time, and it did not go as well as I would have liked it to. I actually have my entire speech written out, word for word. I have it memorized as I've seen that it's the best way for me to prepare and deliver my message, but I'm constantly working on it to make sure that I'm delivering it in an authentic and genuine way. I want everything I say to be said with purpose. Something you may not know is the fact that my core speech is constantly evolving. My mentor, Josh Shipp, says that it takes a couple years to get a speech to where it's 95% because there's always room for improvement. I'm constantly changing a word or a phrase here and there to make my speech more impactful or move along quicker. I can explain something in many words, or I can just say it in a few words and even make a bigger impact. Josh Shipp and his team at Youth Speaker University emphasize the analogy of your speech is like a garden, which means you're constantly pulling out weeds and adding new things and always making improvements to make it the best that it can be. I also love Josh Shipp's advice for after every engagement. He recommends asking what went well, what didn't go well, and how can I get better? Those things have helped me a lot in improving. To make sure I'm continuing to deliver an impactful message, I've also done focus groups, hired people to give me feedback on my speech. I also work with a team of people who have experience in working in schools and with youth, and so I can rely on them to help me prepare for my breakout sessions and other activities and materials that the schools and organizations may need, in addition to helping me improve my speech year after year. Another thing that I do to prepare for my speaking engagements is regular vocal exercises to improve my lung health and my voice strength. I aim to sing for at least 10 minutes a day, Monday through Friday. I use Jeff Rolka videos, and he definitely deserves a shout out because he has really excellent vocal exercises. These exercises are important not only for singing, but also for the speaking that I do, which can often be multiple times in a day. I need to have a strong, clear voice. And in the years past, I've had laryngitis, pneumonia, and COVID, which is really scary because getting sick compromises my ability to speak and sing. I've even seen health specialists help me improve my lung strength. So as you can see, I'm always working to keep my voice in great shape. This is a regular part of my day. Now, for each individual speaking engagement, Doug and I are working closely with the event organizers. We always want to exceed their expectations and have a very successful event. So we're in touch with them after we do the contract about a month prior to the date, when I send out all the details that they need, the audiovisual requirements, ambassador details. And I always research each school and organization a few weeks before our visit. Then we have a call about a week before the event to talk about last minute details and see if there's anything specific that they want me to cover in my message. After that call, I go into my written speech and I make those adjustments so that it fits that particular event and audience. And then I practice. I do this a lot before the event itself. And I love now that Doug does almost all the driving because I can use that travel time to the speaking engagement to practice some more. I also do vocal exercises as we drive to the event so that my vocal cords are warmed up and ready. I also have a list of phrases and quotes from other speakers that I read on my way to the event that get me mentally prepared and ready to deliver my message the best I can. Now, speaking of delivering my message the best I can, Doug has heard me speak hundreds and hundreds of times. And he's really in the best position to help me make my message the best it can be. So while he's the one who helps me improve, I just have to say that he's also my greatest encourager. Doug is the one who's always telling me what an amazing job I did and how proud he is of me. Even if we have an engagement that doesn't go perfectly, he's always to be the one to say how proud he is of me for being able to persevere through challenging circumstances. But this also means that I want Doug to be the one to help me improve. I've always been the type of person who's open to constructive criticism. So I actually enjoy hearing ways to improve my message because I want to be the best that I can be. And you can't improve if you aren't willing to hear what other people have to say. So Doug is always working with me on improving my delivery and my word choice. And we're always working on this together. So that's just a little bit of what goes into my career as a professional speaker. I often get messages from people who also want to be speakers. And I am always super encouraging because people need inspiration and there's always a need for speakers. But I also want people to know that this takes a lot of work. This is not a walk in the park. Doug and I are successful at this because we've dedicated our lives to this. We're all in. We love what we do, and we love seeing lives impacted by my message and my story. So thanks for joining me today to learn about how I prepare for speaking engagements. Were you surprised by anything that I talked about? Let me know in the comments. See you next time.